Delon Wright is bought out by the Washington Wizards and headed to South Beach to become a member of the Miami Heat. And we're going to do mid-season grades for Deni Avdija, Bilal Coulibaly, Corey Kispert, and Johnny Davis. So rock with me tonight, y'all. Next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again, and I appreciate you guys making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. So we're going to talk about Delon Wright. He was formerly bought to Washington Wizards, and pending clearing waivers is headed to South Beach to become a member of the Miami Heat. And we're going to do mid-season grades for Deni, Bilal, Corey, and Johnny Davis. So let's get right into it. Delon Wright was formerly bought out by the Washington Wizards, and pending clearing waivers is headed to Miami to become a member of the Miami Heat. So let me start by saying thank you for your service, Delon. Definitely enjoyed you here in DC. Very under the radar move, very important under the radar move. When Tommy Shepard brought him here on a 2-year deal, high level defense, leadership on the second unit, his ability to shoot from 3-point. When he went down for injury last year, he definitely showed how important he was because overall team defense, especially on the second unit, definitely got worse. So again, he came here, did his job, and definitely a hat goes off to Delon Wright, a very under the radar, but very important move. And it goes to prove that not every major move for organizations are your high profile players. Sometimes role guys who come in and do their job right can be very, very important pieces to your organization. So definitely want to see Delon Wright go to Miami and chase that ring. So Delon Wright is formerly bought out by the Washington Wizards and pending clearing waivers, headed to Miami, become a member of the Miami Heat. So let's slide into mid-season grades. We are going to grade the Wiz kids tonight, which is Deni Avdija, Bilal Coulibaly, Corey Kispert, and Johnny Davis. So we're going to start with Deni Avdija. So Deni this year is averaging 13.8 points a game, 3.8 assists, and 6.6 rebounds. So let's get into the pros first. Well, the pros, number one, we know what he can do. Defensively, definitely an elite level defender, in my opinion. Has been, he's definitely that guy on the defensive end. But what is the one thing we've always been just waiting on when it comes to Deni? His offensive side. Definitely a consistent offensive side to him. So he's finally doing that. He's, in my opinion, he is finally breaking out offensively. The things I like to see with Deni is, number one, not hesitant to take that 3-point shot. His 3-point shot, he's not hesitant to take that shot. He is definitely, if you look at that 43-point game, his shot release has gotten so much faster. His aggressiveness attacking the basket. He's drawing fouls. He's attacking the basket. He's attacking the basket. He's dunking on folk. I love what I see from him when it comes to his 3-point shooting and his ability to not only attack the basket, but to draw fouls. What are the cons? Well, obviously, he still needs to work on his left hand. At mid-range game, I definitely want to see him, get more consistent with a mid-range game, pulling up, hitting those mid-range shots, and arguing with officials. Very often than not, when he's arguing with officials, it'll be you be at the other end of the court, and it'll be a 5-on-4 game. He's got to short that up. There's a time and place to talk to officials, and in transition ain't one of them. He's got to get better at that. But man, the pros are that. I love what I see from Deni. He is definitely finally breaking out because, like I said, his 3-point shot that releases faster, is more fluid. He's less hesitant to take it. His ability to attack the basket, and two other areas that I really like in Deni, man, rebounding. His rebounding numbers. Again, he's averaging 6.6 rebounds. And his vision. I definitely think that obviously Tyus Jones, he's the floor general, he's the point guard. But could they run the offense through Deni at time? Absolutely. And they have been doing that. His vision is out of this world, man. And his ability to find guys and his passing abilities have been very impressive. So I definitely think that they need to start running the offense through Deni. And I think that your top 2 ball handlers should be obviously Tyus Jones, but Deni Avdija, man, they should definitely run the offense through Deni, man. So he's definitely impressed me. Like I said, his biggest thing going into the season, and obviously last year, we kind of expected a breakout season last year because he was working with Drew Hanlon, and we definitely thought that the shot's going to come around. And, obviously, he's got things to work on still on offense offensively, but he's breaking out offensively also. I mean, his 3-point shot is money. His attacking the basket, drawing fouls, the vision, the rebounding. He is becoming a weapon on the offensive end, man. So, we know he can defend, but now we know Deni can play some ball, man. He could definitely shoot the ball now, man. And he's definitely a threat on the offensive side. Now, where do you go from here is the question. Now, to me, it's two things. You got to ask yourself, what is the ceiling now? And that's the thing, how do you go from starter to all-star level? It's easy. What separates from average starters in the NBA to all-stars is consistency, which is, all right, 43 points. We know you can do that. Now, my expectations going forward is, can he be a 15 to 20 point a night scorer? I think that should be the next goal. Can he be a consistent threat, 15 to 20 points a night? I think he can. I mean, obviously, there's other factors that contribute to that. But I think if you look at it, again, if you look at his offensive repertoire, his vision, his rebounding, his 3-point shots coming along, his drive games coming along. I mean, I think he can get there. So I definitely think that the next step for Deni is to become a 15 to 20 point a night scorer. But again, there's a lot of factors. With Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma on the team, obviously a lot of shot attempts between the two of those guys. I think that's one factor that could curb expectations of him getting 15 to 20 points a night. But we'll see, because, again, I'm very high on him. So where do I grade Deni Avdija for the midseason grade? I'm going to give him an A-. Like I said, he's got things to work on, but he is breaking out offensively and is really, really looking good, man. I mean, he has finally arrived offensively, and it's been really cool to see him develop his offensive game here in DC. So I'm giving him an A-. I definitely think that there's things he needs to work on, but he is now a weapon offensively, and other teams are going to have to start to notice him, man. But my biggest thing with Deni is obviously, outside of using his left hand and, the time and place of arguing with officials, those things he need to work on. But consistency, can he string along these offensive performances on a consistent basis? And like I said, I would like to see him become a consistent source of points, whether it's 15 to 20 points a night. I think that is a realistic goal for Deni. So again, I'm going to grade him an A-. So we're going to slide into Bilal Coulibaly, a.k.a. B Cool, next. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by Grammarly. So did you guys know that 90% of Grammarly users report that Grammarly helps them craft more impactful writing? I'm a big time writer. I want to write a book down the line. So I'm a big time writer, whether it's sports or military history, but I write a lot. So Grammarly has been big and has been a really key acquisition for me. Grammarly works across 500,000 apps and websites. By understanding your writing in context, Grammarly provides relevant, personalized suggestions. Their tone suggestions help you navigate even the most difficult work conversations. You can save time with one click and go from editing drafts in hours to just seconds. That's a big thing. 93% of professionals using Grammarly Premium report that it helps them get more work done, which is a big thing for me, man, just cutting down on time. Grammarly is the gold standard of responsible AI with 14 years of experience and just about every IT certification under the sun. Grammarly is a secure AI writing partner that helps your team make it to their point and move faster. So all you got to do to make a bigger impact at work with Grammarly is sign up and download for free at Grammarly.com/podcast. That's GRAMMARLY.com/podcast. Easier said, done. And Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the Free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the Free Fire TV channels app. So let's slide into my man B Cool, Bilal Coulibaly. And looking at Bilal, he is averaging 8.3 points a game, 1.7 assists, and 4.1 rebounds. So looking at the pros, obviously defense, he's a pest. Defensively, his ability to steal, his ability to block, his frame, the fact that he's 6'6" and still growing, man. As a defender, he's already reached. I mean, in my opinion, down the line, I can definitely see him as an NBA all defense guy, because just like Deni, man, his defense is already on point. Now, offensively, obviously, there's a lot of things he needs to work on. Now you see the potential offensively. You know, his ability to drive. Now, obviously, ball handling. You know, his dribble is a little too high now. He definitely needs to work on ball handling, catch and release. You know, he definitely needs to work on positioning his body in the right places and getting that release faster, releasing the ball a lot faster. But you see the athleticism, you see the dog offensively, you know, dunking on people. You know, you see the drive, you see this that the athleticism is through the roof. So obviously he has things to work on, and we knew that coming out the draft that he was going to be very raw offensively. Defensively, he's a dog. Offensively, it's going to take time for him to develop. But I'm trying to tell you guys, just like the situation with Deni, when he figures it out, we have found a diamond in the rough, in my opinion. We have found a star. I mean, Bilal Coulibaly, man. I mean, this future looks bright for me because in the lineup with Deni and Bilal, two high defensive guys, man. When he figures out his offense, this foundation, this young foundation is looking bright. I'm saying right now, I'm very high on Bilal Coulibaly. Like I said, some people thought that the better pick was Cam Whitmore. I like Cam Whitmore, you know, local guy. But looking at Bilal Coulibaly, I can see why they picked him. You know, we definitely hit on that pick because this kid is a pest. High energy guy, athletic. I mean, he's so young, man. He's not even close to his prime, and you see the potential with him. And again, when he figures it out offensively, he's gonna be a star. He's scary good in my opinion because you just see the potential that's just oozing out of this kid, man. So like I said, between him and Deni, the future is definitely bright for this team as far as our young foundation going forward in the rebuild, man, because 2 first-round picks in this upcoming draft, and you know the next couple of drafts after that, high, big name prospects coming out of that, man. So you know we hit on picks like we did on Bilal and Deni, in my opinion. The future is definitely bright in DC when it comes to building a young team who is ready to contend once we get to that point. So you know Bilal, man, his offense will come along. But again, you see the potential with his offense. You see, he's had moments where he's dunking on people. You know, he is athletic. He's definitely got some hops, high IQ. I mean, but here's the thing, you know, and that's why I say we were talking about the many outlets in the NBA, you know, as far as college and, you know, as far as playing overseas, you know, overtime elite, you know, G League. I mean, there's so many different options for guys to come to the league and you know, definitely he's gonna have to be developed. You know, if you look at the fact he's so young, he didn't play too much at the highest level. You know, he was on I believe the 18 and below team, and then he worked his way up to playing with Wemby. So he's still very, very young. He has a long way to go as far as his basketball IQ, in certain aspects of basketball, man. But the potential is just oozing out of this kid, man. And like I said, with him and Deni, man, I'm very, very excited with this team going forward. So where do I grade B? Cool, man. I'm going to go ahead and grade him a B plus. Very raw offensively, but you see the potential. And once he keeps working, and he will, you see the drive, you see the work ethic with him and Deni, man. And that's why I'm big on both him and Deni as far as, you know, the future being bright in DC because you see the work ethic. They're going to work on the game. And Bilal, with proper work, with proper training, once his offense becomes consistent, man, watch out because in my opinion, he's going to be a star. So we're going to move on to Corey Kispert, and we're going to talk about Johnny a little bit. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. So there are 3 nice models I want to look at, but I'm going to talk about one. So you do have the 2024 Nissan Rogue, the 2024 Nissan Pathfinder, and the 2024 Nissan Armada. But I'm going to talk about the Pathfinder because I've always been a big Nissan Pathfinder guy. So the Nissan Pathfinder has room up to 8, which is big if you're a family guy like myself. An expansive cargo capacity, groceries and hunting trips or whatever you want to do, an advanced available 4x4 capability, which is key, especially if you live on the East Coast. With 284 horsepower and up to 6,000 pounds of towing, when adventure calls, the Pathfinder is there to answer. So, look, all you got to do is take the Nissan Pathfinder and go find your next adventure, big adventure. I'm trying to tell you, shop NissanUSA.com. So, everybody, all right, let's slide into Corey Kispert. And there's another question for you guys, man. We have, you know, as far as nicknames, man, we have Turbo for Deni, and we have Be Cool for Bilal Coulibaly. Corey Kispert ain't got no nickname, so let's try to find a nickname for Corey Kispert, man. So definitely comment below. What is your best nickname for Corey Kispert. So let's slide into Corey Kispert. And we've said a lot about Deni Avdija as far as his breakout campaign and how excited we are and how much potential is oozing from Bilal Coulibaly, but we don't talk enough about Corey Kispert and how good he can really be. Looking at Corey Kispert, he is averaging 12 points a game this year, 1.6 assists, and 2.5 rebounds. Now, the pros. Obviously, he's a sniper. He is definitely a sniper. Now, does he need to be a little more consistent as far as his offensive output? Absolutely. But he's definitely a guy who can hit those big-time shots from the perimeter. His cutting game, his driving game, the fact that he attacks the basket now. He is attacking the basket. His ball handling has gotten better. His defense has more effort. He had, you can argue that not only Deni, but Corey Kispert is having a breakout campaign because there's really no cons. Defensively, he's not going to be a stopper. But you see effort. You see a lot more effort and energy on the defensive end. His ball handling has gotten better, which defensive ball handling were the two areas that he really needed to work on, and he has. Obviously, he's still that sniper, man. His cutting game, his ability to cut to the basket, and people like Deni and Tyus are able to find him on cuts are big for this team. His ability to drive the lane and start dunking on folks. He's a lot more athletic than people give him credit for. So I definitely think that not only is Deni Avdija going through a breakout campaign, Corey Kispert is going through a breakout campaign. I think that they need to definitely consider talking about an extension next year, in my opinion, because you need a shooter on your team, and especially a shooter who can create his own shot, a shooter who has high basketball IQ. And that's why I was just previously talking about the many different avenues to the NBA, right? You got college, you have overseas, you have overtime elite in a lot of these programs and programs, and you have the G League, the G League Ignite. That's another. But the hit, and I guess what I'm trying to say is there's many different avenues to the league, and which one's best, it's hard to say. But when you look at programs like Duke, North Carolina, Georgetown, Kansas, Gonzaga, they produce high basketball IQ players. Tyus Jones, man, you see the high basketball IQ with him. Why? He was coached by Coach K. I mean, when you play for these iconic programs, you're being taught by legends, man. They're producing NBA ready players who have high level of basketball IQ. And when you look at Corey Kispert, when you look at players like Tyus Jones, they exhibit high level basketball IQ. And that's why I think that I'm very excited to see what Corey Kispert can do. What is his, and I asked you guys a question, what is the ceiling? Well, it's kind of along the lines of Deni. I want to see him get to 15 points a game. Now, right now, Corey Kispert is at 12. I like to see him become a consistent threat as far as scoring. Now, defensively, like I said, he has shown a lot more energy. He's not a stopper, but that's definitely a step in the right direction for this team because, you're seeing a lot more effort on the defensive end for Corey Kispert, a lot more energy. But my next challenge for Corey is, one, more consistent offensive output. He can be a little streaky too. Just like, and really all three of these guys that I just graded, Bilal, Deni, and Corey, I charge all of them to be more consistent. Consistency is that level, and that's why I said that what separates your average NBA starter from your all-stars and your top level players? Consistency. The difference between Otto Porter and a player like LeBron James is consistency. LeBron James, and obviously there's more to that. I ain't sitting here trying to compare the two like they're close. And there's no shade and disrespect to Otto Porter, man, because he does his job to perfection too as a role player. But it's consistency, being that guy every night. And that's what I want to see from Deni. 15 to 20 points. I think he could definitely be a 15 to 20 points a night score. And Corey Kispert, I'd like to see him raise that scoring average up to 15 points a night because I think that he can do it, man. So looking at the three guys right before we get into Johnny, man, because that's a whole nother conversation. The future is bright in DC. The foundation is looking good because Corey Kispert and Deni Avdija are breaking out this year. And I'm telling you, they're looking really good this year. And in the case of Bilal Coulibaly, obviously he's going to have to be developed offensively, but the defense is already there. So we have a foundation. 2 first-round picks in the upcoming draft and Cooper Flag draft right after that. We have the ability to restock for the draft. And when it's time to get that trade or that free agent acquisition to push us into contender status, we'll be able to do so. But we have a foundation here in DC. Corey Kispert, Deni Avdija, and Bilal Coulibaly, I'm telling you, are really, really, really attractive foundation going forward. And I'm really excited to see how good all of them can be. So definitely comment below, what is the next goal for Corey Kispert, in your opinion? So before we roll, let's talk about Johnny Davis, man. And like I said, I'm gonna look at his stats real fast. They're not gonna be the most sexy stats, obviously, and I'm not gonna get into the intricate who is at blame or anything like that. Looking at Johnny Davis, he is averaging 2.3 points a game, Lord. 0.3 assists and almost a rebound a game. So Johnny Davis, a curious case of Johnny Davis. I'll say this: I'm not going to get into who's at fault. Whether it's Johnny, whether he took advantage of playing time when he got it, whether it's the front office, whether it's Tommy Shepard or the new one, whether it's Wes Unseld Jr. or Brian Keefe. I'm not going to get into blame, but I'll say this: looking at him at Wisconsin, he was definitely a scorer, and he's definitely a guy who was a mid-range guy who can defend. My opinion, when they tried to change him to a point guard, I thought that was just a step in the wrong direction. And I don't know if he decided to change his shot mechanics, if the team decided to change his shot mechanics. Maybe they try to tinker his shot to make him more of a three-point shooter. But here's the thing: he's not a three-point shooter. He's not. I mean, if you look at his shot at Wisconsin, it was more of a fluid shot. And he shot 36% his last year at Wisconsin, but then he only attempted 1 to 2 3-pointers a game. So he's not a three-point shooter, man. He's a mid-range guy. He's a scorer. And even if you look at him as a scorer, he's not a guy who's going to blow past anybody. He's definitely a guy who's going to work more. He's going to rely more on footwork and finesse to provide himself those scoring opportunities and not speed, because he's not a guy who's going to blow past anybody. So I thought that they should have worked through his strengths, which is his mid-range game, his defense, and that should have been the part of the game where they should have really focused on. He's not a point guard. He's not a three-point shooter. So it's going to be interesting to see what their vision is for him going forward, because even if you look at it from a confidence standpoint, I mean, his confidence is shot. So we'll see, man. I don't really know, because like I said, I've asked, not only have I asked Wes Unseld Jr. what his vision was going forward for Johnny Davis, but new interim coach Brian Keefe. And really, I've gotten the same answer. And I don't know if it's a mandate from the front office, but you cannot really pinpoint what their vision is for him going forward, because he's not getting consistent minutes and he's bouncing back and forth between the Wizards and the Go-Go. It's just, for the 10th overall pick, I think we're at the point where we have to start admitting to ourselves we missed on that pick. And it's not on Johnny, man. I mean, it's just so many different ways to look at it. Who's really at fault? I mean, I guess we can all agree that it's a very unfortunate situation. You got a young guy who just 10th overall pick. He's just a non-factor. So, we'll see in the second half if he gets consistent minutes. I think that with the departure of Delon Wright, you definitely got to try to find Johnny Davis some minutes, man, and see what you got in Johnny Davis and see whether he's going to be an asset here in DC or on another team. But you got to start seeing what you have in Johnny Davis. So we're going to go ahead and roll there. I definitely appreciate you guys, man, rocking with me tonight. To kind of summarize, real quick, where do I judge? Where do I grade? And I don't think I did a grade for Corey Kispert. I'm going to give him an A. And as far as Johnny Davis, I'm not even going to grade him, man. I'm going to give him an incomplete because his sample size is too small. I can't really even grade him. So to kind of summarize real quick, Deni Avdija got an A-, Bilal Coulibaly got a B+, and I'm giving Corey Kispert an A, and Johnny Davis got an incomplete. So definitely comment below. Let me know where would you guys grade these 3 guys, man, or these 4 guys? Where would you grade these guys at the mid-season point? So I definitely want to appreciate you guys, man. Rocking with me, man, making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. And don't forget that Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. So again, I appreciate you guys, man. Hope everybody had a blessed and safe weekend, and hail to the Wizards and peace. See you guys next time.